You can be earning more money than ever before and still feel strangely stuck. Your salary increases, your career moves forward, your lifestyle improves, and yet the feeling of financial security remains frustratingly out of reach. You tell yourself that things will finally feel comfortable after the next raise, after the next promotion, after the next milestone, but somehow that moment never seems to arrive. The contradiction is surprisingly common. Many people spend their 20s and 30s working hard to improve their financial lives while unknowingly making the very mistake that prevents them from feeling the benefits of that progress. The interesting part is that this mistake rarely looks like a mistake when it is happening. It does not announce itself through dramatic financial disasters or reckless decisions. Instead, it arrives quietly through ordinary choices that feel completely reasonable in the moment. Because of that, millions of people repeat the same pattern for years without recognizing what is actually happening beneath the surface. During your 20s and 30s, life changes quickly. You begin earning your own income. You move into your own place. You build relationships. You develop a career. You gain independence. You start creating a vision for the life you want. These years are filled with growth, responsibility, and constant transition. Naturally, money becomes one of the most important tools for navigating that journey. At first, the financial goal appears simple. You want more freedom. You want less stress. You want enough money to feel secure. You imagine that earning more will gradually solve many of the challenges you face. In some ways, that belief is correct because higher income can absolutely improve financial flexibility. The problem is that income alone rarely determines whether someone feels financially comfortable. Many people assume that financial progress happens automatically when earnings rise. What often happens instead is that spending quietly rises alongside income. The increase is rarely intentional. It happens through a series of upgrades that seem harmless on their own. You receive a raise and move into a slightly nicer apartment. You upgrade your phone because your old one feels outdated. You begin ordering food more frequently because you are busier than before. You subscribe to more services because each one seems inexpensive individually. You travel a little more often because you feel that you have earned it. None of these decisions appear dangerous. In fact, most of them feel perfectly reasonable. The challenge emerges when all of these upgrades become permanent parts of your lifestyle. What once felt luxurious gradually starts feeling normal. What once felt optional begins feeling necessary. What once felt exciting becomes expected. The human brain adapts remarkably quickly to improved circumstances. Psychologists refer to this process as hedonic adaptation, which simply means that people become accustomed to new levels of comfort much faster than they anticipate. That adaptation creates a hidden financial problem. The happiness generated by a financial upgrade is often temporary, while the expense associated with that upgrade may remain for years. This is where the psychological tension begins. You work harder and earn more because you want greater financial freedom, yet the very improvements that make life more enjoyable can slowly consume the additional income that was supposed to create that freedom. Without realizing it, you may find yourself earning substantially more money than you did 5 years ago while experiencing many of the same financial pressures. You check your bank account. You pay your bills. You handle your responsibilities. Yet there is still a lingering feeling that something is missing. The security you expected from higher earnings never fully arrives. At this stage, many people assume the problem is income. They believe they simply need to earn more. Sometimes additional income genuinely helps, but often it fails to solve the underlying issue because the real problem is behavioral rather than mathematical. The first realization is uncomfortable. The biggest financial challenge in your 20s and 30s may not be how much money you make. It may be the automatic expansion of your lifestyle. Lifestyle inflation is one of the most common financial mistakes people make because it feels like progress while quietly reducing future flexibility. Every increase in spending raises the amount of money required to maintain your current life. As that baseline grows, financial pressure often grows with it. The situation becomes even more complicated when social comparison enters the picture. You live in a world where other people's lifestyles are constantly visible. Every day you encounter images of vacations, luxury purchases, expensive homes, successful careers, and carefully curated highlights from the lives of others. Even when you understand intellectually that these images do not represent reality, they still influence your expectations. Your brain begins forming subtle beliefs about what success should look like. Spending decisions become connected not only to practical needs but also to identity, status, and belonging. You may not purchase something because you truly need it. You may purchase it because it aligns with the version of yourself you hope to become. You may spend money not because the item itself matters, but because of what it represents emotionally. This is where behavioral finance becomes especially important. Human beings are not purely rational decision makers. Emotions influence financial choices far more than most people realize. Stress affects spending. Anxiety affects spending. Boredom affects spending. Celebration affects spending. Confidence affects spending. Financial behavior often reflects emotional states rather than objective calculations. As a result, many purchases are not actually solving practical problems. They are attempting to solve emotional ones. The difficulty is that emotional discomfort tends to return. A purchase may provide temporary relief, excitement, or validation, but those feelings usually fade. The spending remains while the emotional benefit disappears. Over time, these small patterns accumulate. A few extra subscriptions become a meaningful monthly expense. Frequent convenience purchases become a recurring habit. Small upgrades become expectations. None of these decisions appear significant individually, but together they can dramatically shape your financial future. The hidden truth is that financial outcomes are often the result of repeated behaviors rather than isolated decisions. Many people spend years searching for a breakthrough while overlooking the influence of their daily habits. They focus intensely on earning more while paying relatively little attention to how money flows through their lives once it arrives. The people who gradually build financial stability often approach money differently. They understand that awareness matters more than assumptions. Instead of guessing where money goes, they track it. Instead of relying on motivation, they create systems. Instead of waiting for a future raise to solve current problems, they focus on improving current behaviors. This lesson is not about restriction. It is not about eliminating every enjoyable purchase or avoiding experiences that bring value to your life. Financial health is not created by constant deprivation. The real lesson is intentionality. When you spend intentionally, money supports your priorities. When spending becomes automatic, money often drifts toward whatever captures your attention in the moment. One practical shift involves increasing visibility. Many financial problems remain invisible until measured. Tracking expenses for a few months often reveals patterns that would otherwise remain hidden. People frequently discover that the issue is not one large expense but dozens of small habits operating beneath conscious awareness. Another important shift involves separating income growth from lifestyle growth. Every time your income increases, resist the assumption that your lifestyle must increase at the same pace. Allow some of that growth to improve your future rather than exclusively improving your present. Even modest differences repeated consistently can create significant changes over time. Building savings, reducing debt, investing regularly, and maintaining flexibility may not produce the immediate emotional reward associated with spending, but they often contribute far more to long-term peace of mind. The deeper behavioral shift occurs when you stop viewing money as a scorecard and begin viewing it as a tool. Money is not evidence of your worth. It is not proof of your success. It is not a measure of your identity. It is simply a resource that can help you create the life you want. When money becomes connected to self-worth, financial decisions become emotionally charged. When money becomes a tool, decisions often become clearer. You start asking different questions. Instead of asking whether you can afford something, you begin asking whether it aligns with your priorities. Instead of focusing exclusively on today's desires, you consider tomorrow's opportunities. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond intentionally. The result is not perfection. The result is awareness. Awareness allows you to recognize patterns before they become problems. Awareness helps you identify habits that quietly undermine your goals. Awareness creates the space necessary for better decisions. Perhaps the most important thing to remember is that financial progress rarely arrives through one dramatic moment. It usually emerges through hundreds of ordinary decisions repeated consistently over time. The money mistake almost everyone makes during their 20s and 30s is assuming that future income will solve problems that current behavior continues to reinforce. Once you recognize that pattern, you gain the ability to change it. You do not need a perfect budget. You do not need extraordinary discipline. You do not need to optimize every financial decision. What you need is a clearer understanding of how your habits shape your outcomes and how small adjustments can gradually move you closer to the future you want. Because true financial confidence rarely comes from reaching a particular income level. More often, it comes from knowing that your daily decisions are aligned with your long-term goals. It comes from understanding where your money goes, why it goes there, and whether those choices are helping you build the life you actually want. That awareness may seem simple, but it is one of the most powerful financial advantages you can develop during the years that shape so much of your future. What was the biggest lesson you learned from this story? Comment one word that describes your relationship with money right now. Then subscribe for more emotional finance stories that help you understand not just what people do with money, but why they do it. The better you understand your behavior, the better your financial decisions become.